The 2026 FIFA World Cup will be the biggest yet. 48 teams, 16 cities across 3 nations, millions of fans, and a bold promise to make it the greenest tournament in history. From Los Angeles to Atlanta, New York to Dallas, America's stadiums are being marketed as temples of sustainability, solar panels, rainwater harvesting, LED certifications proudly displayed. But behind the LED lights and press releases, how sustainable can a mega event like this really be? Welcome to the World Cup, where the pitch may be green, but the carbon footprint, that's a different game entirely. Mercedes-Benz Stadium in Atlanta is LEED Platinum certified, the first professional sports venue in North America to achieve the highest environmental rating. It features LED lighting that uses 60% less energy than standard lights and solar panels that harvest enough renewable energy to power 9 Atlanta Falcons games. The 15 stadiums chosen for 2026 showcase architectural innovation and sustainability features like LEED certification, immersive video boards, and retractable roofs. SoFi Stadium in Los Angeles maintains LEED Gold certification standards with a tech-forward design featuring a canopy that filters natural light. Philadelphia's Lincoln Financial Fields boasts 11,000 solar panels and 14 wind turbines that generate clean energy to power the stadium. And here's the clever bit. Unlike previous World Cups, the US, Mexico, and Canada have made it clear no new stadiums will be built specifically for the 2026 World Cup, with all building work planned to go ahead anyway regardless of the bid. Existing arenas, reduced construction waste, lower embodied carbon, it all sounds impressive. But the devil, as always, is in the details. Because while upgrading these venues reduces some environmental impact, it doesn't eliminate it. And the bigger question remains, can any event of this scale truly be green? Let's talk about the embodied carbon, the hidden emissions locked into every ton of concrete poured before a single fan walks through the gates. Building elements such as foundations, frames, and superstructure often represent the biggest contribution to embodied carbon because of the large volume of material they use. Carbon-intensive structural materials such as steel, concrete, and masonry. Concrete is the most widely used construction material throughout the world and is responsible for 6 to 11% of total CO2 emissions. And we covered this in a previous video. Approximately 75% of the whole life carbon impact of any stadium is embodied in its materials. Even renovations come with a cost. New seating, expanded concourses, upgraded infrastructure, all of it represents steel, glass, aluminium, and concrete. And then there's everything around the stadium. Within the 2026 United bid, organisers reported 3.7 million tonnes of carbon, making it the highest World Cup carbon footprint ever, with travel accounting for 85% of these emissions. Fan zones, parking expansions, temporary structures for hospitality, air travel for teams, officials, and hundreds of thousands of international supporters. With matches being played as far north as Vancouver and as far south as Mexico City and Miami, travel distances pose an environmental threat. Vancouver to Miami is 4,500 kilometers by plane, and a one-way economy ticket produces roughly 672 kilograms of carbon dioxide. A study by scientists for Global Responsibility, the Environmental Defense Fund, and the New Weather Institute suggested that the 2026 World Cup is likely to be one of the most polluting tournaments to date, generating over 9 million tons of CO2 equivalent, close to double the average emissions of the last 4 World Cups. A single concrete stadium can emit hundreds of thousands of tons of CO2 before a ball is even kicked. Green tech can reduce that footprint, but it can't erase it. FIFA has promised that the 2026 tournament will set new standards in sustainability, but this isn't FIFA's first rodeo. At Qatar 2022, the organisation pledged the world's first carbon-neutral World Cup. The Swiss Fairness Commission found that FIFA engaged in misleading and unfair advertising of the 2022 Qatar World Cup, with NGOs alleging FIFA's branding of the event as carbon neutral was a textbook example of greenwashing. Carbon Market Watch found that when FIFA tabulated the carbon footprint for building 7 new stadiums in Qatar, it ignored enormous sources of carbon, underestimating emissions by a factor of 8. Stadiums were accounted for on a use-share basis, a carbon accounting trick that meant only a fraction of construction emissions were accounted for, with Qatar estimated to emit up to 1.6 million tonnes of CO2 from construction, yet the report totaled only 0.8 million tonnes. FIFA's solution? Carbon offsets. Planting trees, buying credits, etc. In the Poor Tackling report, tournament organisers used dubious calculations to make the event appear carbon neutral, ignoring major sources of emissions, especially from construction, with credits of poor quality unlikely to benefit the climate. Again, we've covered carbon offsets in a previous video. FIFA was adjudged to have made false statements about a carbon neutral World Cup 2022 tournament. For 2026, FIFA is once again relying heavily on offsets. But critics say that's not a climate goal, it's a distraction, a shell game that allows the show to go on while genuine emission reduction takes a backseat. The 2026 World Cup will bring spectacle, unity, and unforgettable moments. Football has that power. But if we're serious about sustainability, the real challenge isn't building greener stadiums, it's confronting a harder truth, that no amount of solar panels or recycled steel can offset the emissions of an event designed to span a whole continent. Sports mega events as they are currently organised are unsustainable. Since FIFA and the IOC ramped up their environmental claims in the 1990s, their events have only become bigger and their impact more severe. Greenwashing anaesthetises the public to the environmental impact of sports mega events. We should change how we define success, how we measure impact, and whether the world's biggest sporting events can exist in this current form in a climate-constrained future. The 2026 FIFA World Cup kicks off in June next year. The carbon cost is still being calculated.